Hi everyone, welcome to Power BI Desktop tutorial. In today's lecture, we're going to discuss how to create a new measure table. So these measure table allow you to store all your measures, explicit measure that you will create, and you can save them in one place. So it allow you, so you can use it for more complex relationships. For example, you have order quantity, the measure that we create. You can create one table in here, so you store everything you measured. You keep it with the one table, so it will easy to use it everywhere. You can use it with the report view, table view, and model view, and even with the go to transfer data, you can use it with the back end with the bar query editor. And there is two way you can create your new table. That's gonna go from table view within DAX, go for a new table, from a new table, and this is measure. This is measure table, and parentheses called the DAX, so we can differentiate with the other equal to just curly brackets and two double quote and the curly bracket again. Just a click enter. You can use this table to store all your new measure, so all the functions, all the explicit measure that you will create, you can just save it with the measure table DAX. So you can see we have only one value, and this is just a place to save all your measure in here. And the difference between create your measure with DAX and in the report view, if you create it in here, you cannot see it with the back end, the Power Query Editor. But if you create your measure table in here, it will allow you to see your table everywhere. So from here, report view, go to the enter data, and let's gonna name it now. This is measure. This is measure table, and I'm gonna go just load the data, keep everything like it, and you will see we have another measure table. So we have measure table and measure table DAX. So this is with the table view, and this is with the report view. With the table view, if you go to the Power Query Editor, you'll see with here also we have only the measure tables. We don't have measure table DAX, and that's why I told you if you create your table with the DAX, with the table view, so you will not see your table with the Power Query Editor. So let's gonna back in here. We don't need this one. Let's gonna delete it. We can remove data from model. And we have this is measure table. We have in here within the sales data, we have order quantity. We could create it in the previous lectures using the new measure. So let's gonna move it from order quantity name to, we can select it from here and move it to the, we have in here measure table. So it's moved to the measure table. This column, just highlight it and delete it. We can just delete it from the model, and yes. And now we can use this measure table, and you can see now is updated with a new calculated icon. And now we can add everything we create, you can add to this table, and it will allow you to use this table everywhere. If you go to the table view, you will have it. If you go to the model view, you will have it everywhere. And this is the difference between explicit and implicit measure, the one that we talked in the previous lecture. That's why this one is that's why explicit measure is so important. So you can use it everywhere, even with the back end, with the Power Query Editor. So we are not talking about one or two functions. We have almost 100 of functions. You can see this is the common functions categories. You can add some average maxes with the math and the statistical function. And we have the logical functions, this is if, and, or. You have the text functions, this is concat. You have many 100 of functions you can create with these explicit metrics, and you can depend on your purpose, and you keep all your measures in here, so it will be easy to merge it and add it with any other complex nesty calculations. So let's gonna start simply with the basic statistical functions, aggregate function. So if you need to create, just click on here and you have a new measure. With a new measure for quantity sold equal to, so you have to shift enter to back one line, and then I'm going to use the sum function after sum, and you have to select where you need to sum your data. So we need this one from return data. Within the return data, we have return quantity. So from return quantity, and you have to close the parentheses in here. So if you click enter now, you will see we have quantity sold, and this is within the return data. So if you go to the return data, we have this is the return data. We have return quantity. If we need to know how much quantity sold per these return date. So if you go back in here, the only way to check your measures to visualize them. So if you now add it, go from here, that's gonna add it to from measures, and we have this is order quantity. We have a quantity sold. You see the quantity sold is already take the quantity sold from here is the same as return quantity, the sum of return quantity, and this is working fine. Use is the same. And the purpose, if you wonder why, if it's already from here, I can just go from data and go to return quantity, return data, and add the return quantity. I will have the same thing in here. So what the purpose of adding that, this is why we talk about the implicit and explicit measure. These are the implicit measure. You will see it only within this window, but explicit measure, you will use it everywhere, even with the backend. Product price. So let's gonna calculate the total retail price. If you need to calculate the total retail price from product lookup, I'm just gonna go back from here, go to the measure table, a new measure, and this is total. This is total retail. This is total retail price equal to shift and enter, and then you have to put. We're gonna calculate the average. So the average retail price, I'm going to use the average, and from here we can select just it is from product lookup, so we can just put the product lookup, and we have product lookup, product price, and close the parentheses, click enter. You'll see we have average retail. So that's going to add this is to the matrix view. From here, add data, we have the measures table, average retail price. We see we have the average retail price, but now since the data is not changing, so we can see it in more details. We have product category lookup, and we have category name. If you see now, the average retail price is bare category name. We have for accessories. For accessories, this is $34. This is for bikes, clothing, and we have the components. And if you need more, you can check from here. And if you need to add more, you can add more data with subcategory. If you add subcategory, you have subcategory names. So now you can add more details to your view. Click this one. So you see this is bike showed, this is bare bikes, and you will have in here with the subcategory name. And you have different retail price. So this is the powerful of using the measures. So let's gonna add now a new measure, and let's gonna see we have also within the return data, we have return data in here, return quantity. So if we need to calculate the total returns, we can back from here. Let's gonna calculate the counts, use measure table, a new measure. So this is the total. If you need to calculate the total returns, equal to shift and enter, and we use in here count. So if you click count, we'll have count, count A, count, and you can easily check what these mean. So if you go for count, click on this arrow in here. This is count the numbers in a column. So this count the numbers in the columns. If you're back in here, you will allow you to see the difference between all these counts. So let's go and go for count. And from counts, we have return data. Within the return data, we have return data, return quantity data, and close the parentheses. Click OK, and you'll have the total returns. If you're back in here, and also add the visualize, add data from measure tables. We have the total returns. So this allows you to check the total returns, compare items that we already sold in back. Okay, and also we can add multiple new measure in here. It depends on your purpose. We can go back in here, table view. It's going to go for sales data. Gonna check the sales data. So you can see how the order number. So within order number, we can calculate the total orders from here. And if you click on the order number, you'll see you'll have sales data. This is 56,000 rows, and only is distinct value, is not repeated, not duplicate value, only 25,000 and 1,6400. So only these value are distinct value, and because you are using in here the foreign key, so you'll have duplicate data if you need only the distinct value. So in here you can use the distinct function, so you can back from here if you need to calculate just a new measure in here. You can calculate the total equal to, and this you have shift and enter, and then you can put this is the distinct. You have distinct count, and then you have to select from sales data. We have the order. From the sales data, we have the order number. Sales data order number, and close. Click in here, you will have the total order in here. And if we add it to the matrix view, from here add data, measures table, we have total order, and we can see the total order is 25,164. If you back in here to the sales data, click on the order number, you will see we have 25,164 distinct value. This is because we use the distinct. So distinct count allow you to use only the unique value. Distinct count, this allow you only to see the unique value, not duplicate value, only the unique value. So that's why you will have in here 25,164. So we'll continue add as much as we can, many functions within our measure table, so we can use it with multiple complications formula. And this is how to build our new measure within Power BI Desktop. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.